Hey! Hello, book club. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I've been playing a um, board game with my sister. Oh, I look drunk, don't I? I was going to tell you I've had a few gin and tonics, but guess what? I think you can tell. Oh, goodness, you've all been chatting. Hi, everybody. So everyone's saying hello to each other. Let's just scan through all this and say hello to everybody. Hi, Sarah and Kevin and Catherine and Shane and Kevin and Neil and lots of people. What's everyone? Everyone's having a nice day. Good. I also wanted to say a lovely thank you to a few of you that have left really nice messages on my coffee account lately. And while I completely appreciate the donations as well, which I think are really lovely of you, the messages too are just so lovely. And call me a needy little twazzock, but I am one. But hearing how much this is sort of not meaning to you, because that's a bit much in it, but how much you're liking it is jolly lovely. I'm really drunk. Oh dear. I just had I've had a fuck it day today. You know, when you just have a day when you think, oh fuck it, I can't be asked. So hello everyone. Good morning, New Zealand. Thanks, babe. Tom, show everyone your haircut. I cut Tom's hair today. He won't show you. He's being shy. Okay. I'm going to try not to be too obnoxious and to just read the chapter like a person can read. That's me. Yeah, I've just, when you like, I think it's the weather changing, isn't it? When it was sunny, there was a little bit of me that was like, this is all right, isn't it? It's all right. And then when the weather's pants, it just gets a bit aggro-y, doesn't it? Oh, I've lost my tabs now. Yeah. Well, anyway, cheers, everyone. Here's to another G&T. It's my sister's birthday tomorrow too, and she's feeling a little bit down. So we've played some good games today, and I'm very middle-aged. Kind of fine with that. Hey, we're in an online book club. We're all middle-aged, right? But me and my friend today, we're both doing jigsaw puzzles. So we just called each other on video chat for like an hour and a half and just did puzzles together but apart, having a chat while we were doing puzzles. I was like, this is really lovely and relaxing. Just sort of like 10 minutes would go by, neither of us would say anything, but we were just both doing little puzzles. It was nice. London calling. Where are my specs from? Specsavers, mate. Two for one. They're Kath Kidston, which I don't normally go like. Not. I don't like being negative about things. Her stuff's great for some people, but it's usually a bit much for me. But I quite liked these ones. Games are brilliant. Nuts. I love games. I really love board games. I'm a huge board game addict. In fact, Tom and I are inventing a board game, which we're hoping to sort of start a Kickstarter for to make a prototype version that people can play. So we're hoping to get that finished during lockdown. Right. Should we read a chapter? The voting. What I'm loving about the voting is that you guys have gone from like the early votes were all like number 1, number 2, or number 3, and now you guys give me a little plot synopsis with your vote. It's really lovely. You're always like, vote number 2 because Emma would do this. I'm like, oh, okay, that's your prediction, is it? So with that in mind, it was pretty high vote for this response. So we'll see how long Emma waits, shall we? So chapter 13, here we go. The day after the night before. Emma practically jogged to the shop next morning. So, oh my God, do you know what? I've just realised I've got to read. I've got to bloody read out loud. My mouth's all fuzzy. It'll be fine. Don't worry. Emma practically jogged to the shop next morning. Am I reading? Is this? That's a normal tempo, isn't it? Is that? I've completely forgotten what speed people talk at. I'm so sorry. Shut up, Neil. Future scope. Right. Put your teeth in. Come on, girl. Emma practically jogged to the shop the next morning. Such was her desire to tell Fiona all about the impromptu meeting in the petrol station. She reached the shop door and hopped about from foot to foot, impatiently watching Fiona release the bolts. Oh God, and accents. Bloody hell. I don't know why in my head I'd just sort of forgotten I was going to have to do this. I think because I look forward to it so much, I forget that I actually have to be able to do it as well as just have a giggle. Right, let's put some security hood up. Wales. What's Wales? All right, I'm Welsh. All right, right. Fiona. She reached the shop and hopped about from foot to foot, impatiently watching Fiona release the bolts. You've got ants in your pants, said Fiona, standing back to let Emma through the shop. Do you need a wee or something? No, Emma squealed. I have news. She dashed back to the staff room and dropped her coat and bag in an untidy pile on one of the seats. If she hadn't been so focused on getting the headlines to Fiona, she might have been upset at how out of breath these simple actions were making her. Oh my goodness, said Fiona, eyeing a breathless Emma, who was standing shiny-eyed in the middle of the shop like a child on Christmas morning. The decorations and wrapped gifts around her certainly helped the illusion. This must be quite the news. Did you kiss? I knew there was something brewing yesterday. I just knew it. You kissed, didn't you? Emma frowned, immediately stumbling in her much-rehearsed telling of the night's activities. Kissed? How had Fiona guessed she'd met Theo? No, we didn't kiss. How could we have kissed? We only just met. Not really, said Fiona, bending the word really round a corner to make a point. Emma considered. For Theo had recognised her right straight away, so maybe it was like they'd known each other a long time. Maybe it wasn't so weird that they'd kissed. No, wait, they hadn't kissed. And you had spent the whole day together, Fiona was carrying on. Emma held up a hand. Wait, are you talking about Jack? Of course I'm talking about Jack. What other men did you drive home with last night? Oh, exclaimed Emma, excited again to fill Fiona in on the details. Fiona, you are never going to believe this, but right, last night we're driving home and we've been in the car for about 20 minutes, and then Jack realises I've put the wrong postcode into the sat-nav. I believe it's so far. Fiona arched an eyebrow and smiled dryly at Emma. Moo, said Emma, sticking her tongue out, but far too cheerful to take it seriously. So we pulled into this petrol station, and I said I'd get him some sweets to apologise for the detour. And then I'm in the little shop bit choosing something, and guess who walks in? Fiona stared blankly at Emma. I don't know. Guess, demanded Emma. Jack, said Fiona weakly. No! Well, I suppose yes, technically, but that was after. Guess who walked in first and knew who I was? I feel like the acting out is being really OTT. I just pulled the thing. When I'm reading it, I have the piece of paper up over the video so I don't have to see myself, and then I pull it down. Is that what you look like, you fucking dork? You know, you have a vision of yourself in your head and you're like, oh, I'm all right. You look like if Aardman made plasticine South Park characters. Hello. Just read the story, Laura. Just read the story. Um, right. A light appeared in Fiona's eyes. No! She shot both hands up to her cheeks. For the first time in all her hours in the shop, Emma witnessed a customer come in and Fiona completely ignore them. It wasn't. Emma was nodding like a dashboard dog. It bloody was. Theo! He came straight over to me and was like, Emma, and remembered me completely from Futurescope and everything. Well, he couldn't really remember you from anywhere else. Good point, said Emma, thoughtfully. Still, though, isn't that amazing? So perfect, Fiona agreed. And here's the best part, Emma continued, eager to place the cherry on top of the cake. He gave me his phone number. He did not. Fiona shouted so loudly that the customer that was browsing tinsel quietly put the garland back on the hanger and made their way out. He did. Excuse me, tiny hiccup. He did. Emma was beaming. Why? Shrieked Fiona, and the good feeling drained out of Emma's feet into the sparkly carpet. What do you mean, why? Well, why did he give it to you? Fiona asked again, apparently oblivious to the puppy dog look on Emma's face. Well, what? Why wouldn't he? Yeah, I suppose so. I hadn't thought of it like that. Gosh, that's so exciting. So when are you going to text him? You need to leave it at least 3 days. Play hard to get. Emma thought about responding with a sarcastic comment aimed at Fiona and her absolute inability to play at all hard to get where Norman was involved. Unfortunately, the feeling of superiority was somewhat scuppered by the knowledge that she had already texted Theo that morning within exactly 1 hour of waking up. She really had tried not to. She'd woken up early with the sound of a door slamming in Jack's flat, and the memories of the previous night's encounter came flooding back in full technicolor. She relaxed into her mattress, feeling the weight of Theo's arm on her shoulder once again. Her phone lay on the bedside table, and if she squinted, it shimmered like the most important prop in an Indiana Jones film. That phone was now the single most important item she owned. It contained his phone number. The phone number. The only phone number she would ever need again. It wasn't just a number. It was the code she needed to unlock the rest of her life. She rolled over and gazed at the phone, unable to stop herself imagining a future where she was rolling over to gaze at more than an iPhone 7 with a cracked screen. A cracked screen. She sat bolt upright in the bed, knocking her head into the reading lamp that stuck out from the wall. Exactly. This proved the point she was formulating nicely. Emma, you are quite a clumsy woman, she said out loud to herself in the silence. You can say that again, she thought immediately afterwards. If I've already been down on myself, then that'll do, she reprimanded herself internally. There's no need to lay it on so thick. Today is a good day. And it would be a good day, as long as that phone remained A, full of Theo's number, B, in her possession, and C, not broken. Not broken was the key one. Emma had long since lost count of the number of phones she had had over the years. They always seemed to find a way to skip out of her grasp or be under something heavy or inside something wet. She had the worst luck in choosing phones. No matter how many there were in the shop, Emma would come home with the one that was suicidal. She eyed the phone as it lay there innocently on the side. I bet you just can't wait to bounce across a tarmac road and wipe the entire SIM card, can you? She chastised it. She'd have to beat the phone somehow. She could write Theo's number down, maybe a couple of times, and then hide them around the flat. What if you write it down wrong? I'll be extra careful. What if you don't clear up all the versions of his number, and then he's round here after a date and finds one of them down the sofa cushions and thinks you're a weirdo? The imagined look of horror on Theo's face made Emma disregard that idea almost immediately. I could buy another phone and put the number on that, she mused. But that thought didn't have much sticking power, as Emma was fairly sure that 2 opportunities to break a phone would be asking for trouble. I'm just going to have to text him, she said out loud, quite proud of herself for coming to such a speedy and rational decision. It's the only way to get his number to be fully saved in the cloud as well as my phone. Surely not even you are leaving yourself here, she tried to reason with herself, but the part of her that just wanted to text him as quickly as possible had hold of the reins and was steering both hands full steam ahead at the phone. What to text? That was the next question. Something simple for sure, something breezy and casual. There's nothing breezy and casual about texting someone at 6:45 a.m, piped a desperate voice from the back of her mind, but she shut it in a cupboard and opened her messages. Quick gym zip, a gin sip, and a check what you guys are up to. Oh, should have gone with an Android, Shane says. Well, yeah, we've all smashed an iPhone or two, haven't we? Artwell thinks she's going to lose her phone. Oh, you might be right, Artwell. Oh, we shall see. We shall see. Um, mm, mm, mm. She shut that voice in a cupboard and opened her messages. Hi. That was a good start. Seemed more casual than hello, but not as suggestive as hey. Okay, off to a good start. And capitalize the H? Yes, she thought so. She didn't want to seem like she was trying to be too young. Now, should she include his name? Pros to including his name were he'd know it wasn't a blanket text to several men. He'd know she knew his name. He'd know she knew how to spell his name. 38 minutes later, Emma looked at her watch and realised she was going to be severely late for work if she didn't get a move on. She'd got as far as, hi. No, Theo. Lovely to bump into you last night. Casual use of bump, preferable to more insinuative meet. Hope work is okay today. Keeping text topics to things he had brought up in the garage so as not to seem presumptive. And now she was dithering over whether or not to suggest they meet up. Come on, Emma, you have to get to the shop. There was another crash from upstairs and she glanced up at the ceiling. Jack must be having a clumsy day. Guess that made two of them. She hastily swiped her thumbs across the screen and added, let me know if you fancy grabbing a jar sometime, and then hit send. She immediately cringed at her attempt to use jar conversationally. Now she'd have to have a pint of something when they met up, and she hated pints. You've already texted him, haven't you? Fiona could read her like a book, it seemed, and had folded her arms, tapping her foot like a tedious teacher. Well, I was worried, Emma tried. Worried about what? Making him think you had a life? Oof, snappy, judgy Fiona was back, and Emma wasn't keen. No, I was, I was worried about breaking my phone. Fiona stared at her silently. Oh, all right then, gave in Emma. I just really wanted to text him, okay? So I did. Fiona held out a hand. Hand your phone over then. Let's see this text. Her teacher impression was coming on leaps and bounds, Emma thought. It's in my bag in the staff room, said Emma. No, it isn't. It's in your pocket. I can see the outline, snapped Fiona and shook her outstretched palm at Emma. Damn, she's good, thought Emma, unlocking the phone and finding the message and passing it to Fiona. Fiona read it in a matter of seconds. It's not bad, except, said Fiona. Except what? Said Emma, looking up in alarm. Except you haven't put your name in it. Did you give him your number already? Fiona asked. Emma was horrified. Oh, bollocks, she shouted, and then glanced around the shop to check there weren't any customers. No, I didn't give him my number. You better text him now and tell him who it's from, said Fiona, handing the phone back over. I can't do that, said Emma plaintively. Then he'll know I've been rereading the message and noticed. He'll know I've been thinking about it. Oh, good point. Fiona nodded in agreement. I suppose you can wait then to see if he texts back saying whose number is this. Or, well, I mean, he'll know it's you, won't he? How many other women can he possibly have met last night? Emma didn't want to think about the answer to that question because, in her mind, women were tripping over themselves to give Theo their numbers. Perhaps he was constantly having to give his number out just to get rid of them. Perhaps he had a whole separate number just to fob them off. Perhaps she texted the fob number. God, she was an idiot. How could she possibly have thought he'd wanted to give her his number? But he had offered it. She hadn't asked, had she? She thought back over the night before. No, he definitely offered it to her, right after Jack had got a bit mardy about Elliot and walked out of the shop. But then again, he also hadn't replied. Oh God, this was a nightmare. Like a lightning bolt, she realised she was almost definitely hungry. And that's why all this felt so unbearable. Do you mind if I take an early lunch? Asked Emma. It's 9:15, said Fiona, checking her watch to make sure it was Emma who was mad and not herself. I know, but I missed breakfast. I got distracted. Yeah, go on then. Pop and get us both a Betty for lunch, and you can still have your lunch break later. Doesn't look like it's brunch. Sorry, misread that. My bad. I am a drunken fool. Oh no, and now I've pressed the wrong button and all the things have gone all over the computer. um, sorry. Yeah, go on then. Pop and get us a Betty for brunch, and you can still have your lunch break later. Doesn't look like it's going to be busy today. Thanks, said Emma gratefully. By the way, how was it with Norman on the way home? Did you have a nice day with him? Fiona looked suddenly melancholy and avoided eye contact with Emma. Yeah, she said vaguely. It was different to be with him around other people. It felt much more normal, just the two of us in the car. He's a bit brash, isn't he? Maybe. I don't know. She shivered a little, and then tried to busy herself with a delivery list and a pencil before giving up and dropping both onto the till. She looked Emma directly in the face. Did you like him? She asked plaintively. And that is the end of your chapter. Did you like him? I mean, I know you guys don't like him. Oh, thank you, Georgina, for calling me a wonderful drunk. I shall go and tell Tom that that is what my behaviour is, and it's not insufferable or pesky. It's wonderful. Right, so your question, which I'm hoping will be a bit of a thinker. I'm trying to mix up the questions so that some of them make you scratch your heads a bit, and some of them are like, this is what I want, and some of them, you're trying to work out. So here's your question for the end. What does Emma say? Does she say yes, or does she say no? And obviously, you've got to weigh up not only how Emma felt about Norman, but what she would say to Fiona. So you kind of have to decide. I mean, I think we can tell from the narration that she wasn't keen on him, but does she tell Fiona? That's your decision to make, whether or not she lies to Fiona now, or whether she tells Fiona the truth. So it's totally up to you. Did you like him? She asked plainly. What does Emma say? Yes or no? Up to you. What's she gonna do? Claire's asking for a third option. No, she's gonna come down one way or the other. She's either gonna lie to Fiona, or she's gonna tell her the truth and have the awkward conversation. So Kevin wants a sort of option, and Jackie's put on. I hoped this one would trip you up a little bit, because I love how much you like Emma and you want life to work out for her, and you're sort of tripping her up every now and again, but ultimately there's a lot of love. So I wanted to give you a question that would make you have to really work out what Emma would do in this situation. So what does Emma say to Fiona? That's your question. You have until mid-afternoon tomorrow. I've got to go and do the grocery shopping for my grandpa tomorrow. So I probably won't be writing till about 4 p.m. on the 30th of April. So let's see what you do. What would Emma do? I like it. All right. Well, happy deciding, gang. And thanks for putting up with me and my gin tonic and elderflower. I really love doing this. I'm really having such a lovely time. Robert Thomas, hello. I don't think I've seen your name in the chat before. Lovely to have you here. How can you save Emma from this? What, from an awkward situation? That's very British of you to want to remove her from a direct question. Right. Enjoy. We will find out what Emma does tomorrow, I suppose. Yes or no, the decision is yours. So you have until 4 p.m. British summertime on the 30th of April. Have a lovely evening, and I will be back. I might not be sober tomorrow because it's Maggie's birthday, my baby sister's birthday tomorrow, so we might be a little bit tipsy. But thank you very much. Lots of love to you all. Bye.